and I feel very disrespected by that in general. Thank you very much.
For your comment. Next speaker is Sibelio Aquino, teacher.
My name is Cecilio Aquino. I'm a physical education teacher at Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin should be a safe haven for our students, but it is not. During the course of the school year, Mr. Pasarow and his administration has failed to keep the students safe. I have personally witnessed students cutting class or leaving the school without permission on different occasions. For example, during my lunch, I saw a 6th grade student climb over the back gate that leads to outside of the school campus. I called out the student's name, but the student ignored me and continued to run away. 2 weeks ago, 2 6th grade girls left campus and went to the Starbucks in Westlake without permission, and nobody knew. Other teachers on many occasions have watched students leave campus without permission. Once a student leaves the school without permission, the child is no longer safe. Who knows what can happen to that child outside of school, and therefore the school is liable. Because so many students cut class and wander the school grounds all day, every day, they found themselves in the PE teaching areas. They come into the gym while we taught, disturbing the students' learning. They came onto the blacktop and into our class, disturbing the teachers' teaching and students' learning. This happened over and over again, week after week, month after month. In conclusion, in the 5 years I've been at Ben Franklin, it has been an excellent school. However, under Sam Pasarow, our school has become a school in chaos. The students and staff are in favor of replacing this principal. Please give us a new one. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is, I apologize if I say the name wrong, Tara Moisney, teacher.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Tara Moxney, and this is my 15th year working as an ELA teacher at Benjamin Franklin. During my tenure, I really enjoyed my time teaching at Ben, and it felt like a valued member of the community. Unfortunately, this changed when Mr. Pasarow became our principal. Despite the fact that this was not my observation year, Mr. Pasarow spent several days observing my classes and stayed for the entire 90-minute block. While I understand administration has the right to observe me anytime, the amount of attention Mr. Pasarow gave to my classes seemed excessive given the fact that the same focus was not given to teachers who he was tasked to evaluate this year, including 2 brand new teachers who would have benefited from receiving some support. Over the years, I have not received one negative evaluation from the many administrators who have observed me. Mr. Pasarow was the outlier. His notes to me from an observation he did on Zoom while we were in the height of the pandemic were scathing and false. During a debrief meeting this year, he again presented only a negative analysis of my teaching. I received no positive feedback, and more importantly, no suggestions for how to improve. Additionally, Mr. Pasarow asked me to submit my lesson objectives and content standards for an entire month. No other ELA teacher was asked to do the same, and I received no follow-up. I do not know why I was singled out, but I do know that I felt bullied and targeted, and I am not alone. My students also felt very uncomfortable under the intense scrutiny as Mr. Pasarow sat in the back of my room typing on his computer for 2 periods. The Ben community deserves much better. Thus, I urge the board to take action. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Julia Gessen, teacher.
Good evening. My name is Julie Gessen, and this is my 4th year teaching at Ben Franklin. For most of the school year, I have been very concerned about the stress and anxiety that many teachers at Ben Franklin are unnecessarily subjected to. It has been a very difficult year with our students returning 100% after COVID restrictions and isolation, as well as after losing 3 members of our team last fall. During this trying year, when both teachers and students needed support and encouragement more than ever before, many of my colleagues got exactly the opposite. I have witnessed some teachers cry on almost daily basis because they have been subjected to Mr. Pasarow's unfair and even cruel comments, judgments, and critiques. This resulted in low morale, as well as in medical and psychological issues such as headaches, insomnia, nightmares, anxiety, and general stress that many of them have experienced. At this moment, there are several veteran teachers seeking employment elsewhere because another year of such stress seems unbearable. I urge the district and the board members to take action before the district loses some of the best teachers. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is David Finn, teacher.
Hi, everybody. My name is David Finn. I've been a teacher at Ben, math teacher there for 7 years, and I've really grown to love the community at Ben. This year, I quickly began hearing negative stories about Sam Pasarow from my colleagues, as you've heard. Through these secondhand stories, I noticed a pattern of intimidation and disrespect. And I don't want to repeat what many of them are going to tell you and have told you, so I'll just tell you what I witnessed firsthand. 2 incidents anyway. One, I have asthma and my mom has cancer. She's undergoing chemotherapy, so I've been extremely anxious about being indoors with a lot of people, especially if some are unmasked, and that's why I've been watching this from my car. My students demonstrate our school value of respect by wearing masks in my classroom, even though they don't have to. And I asked fellow staff if they would please wear masks at a faculty meeting, and they did, but not all 100% of the time, so I grew uncomfortable, and I left to monitor the meeting remotely. I returned to go back to the meeting, but I immediately saw Sam sitting there unmasked, so I left again. I was later called into a meeting with Sam where he loudly and aggressively told me that many staff were upset with me because they wore masks like I asked, and I didn't even have the courtesy to stay. At the time, I asked him to please watch his tone with me. I was shocked to hear what he said, and I later confirmed that it was a lie. Nobody was angry with me. In the second incident, 5 minutes before school started one day, Sam walked into my classroom without a mask, and he refused multiple requests to please leave my classroom and talk to me outside. He ignored me and he began a phone or radio conversation maskless inside my classroom. After several minutes, I finally had to yell at him to get out so I could go in and get ready for my imminent class. He came out at that point and he told me not to yell at him and that he didn't appreciate it. My students show respect, but Sam often does not. So I sincerely hope that you will get us a principal who can build back a culture of safety, ownership, achievement, and respect, which are the values that we hold really dear at Ben. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is William West, teacher.
Evening, everybody. My name is Bill West, and I'm a social studies teacher at Ben Franklin. When I started Ben 25 years ago, the school always had a leadership team whose role was to discuss issues facing the school and to devise strategies to address these issues. This method of problem solving utilized the experience and expertise of all concerned. When Mr. Pasarow came to Ben, he eliminated the leadership team. This without any consultation of the staff. By doing so, he took away the school's primary means of communication and problem solving, which has led directly to many of the issues that you have heard about tonight. For example, one of the casualties of the elimination of the leadership team is the school-wide discipline policy. When we petitioned Mr. Pasarow to reinstate the leadership team, he refused to do so, saying, quote, "That ain't gonna happen," unquote. Mr. Pasarow's attitude is one of, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And he has gone as far as saying that if you don't like working at Ben, you can leave. This was a very similar outcome for the school's scheduling committee, whose purpose was to assist administration in creating the master schedule. The staff petitioned Mr. Pasarow to also reinstate this committee, but his response was, quote, "I have never been at a school where teachers have any say over the master schedule," unquote. The Ben community needs a leader who values experience and expertise and who realizes working collaboratively creates the best environment for our students to learn. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is Samantha Tai, Ben Franklin science teacher.
Hi, my name is Samantha Tai. I'm a science teacher and a union rep at Ben Franklin. I grew up in this district and went to elementary school, middle school, and high school here in Daly City. And I'm a proud member of this community, in which I now serve as a teacher. I am continuing the statement from my colleagues. Principal Sam Pasarow and his administration use intimidation tactics to silence students and teachers. Intimidation tactics that include staring, stalking, raising his voice, disciplining students for expressing their freedom of speech, and disciplining teachers for speaking up. Yet, despite mounting evidence of Mr. Pasarow's harassment towards staff and students, Mr. Brent Valenti continues to defend him, going as far as attacking the credibility of some teachers who call Mr. Pasarow out for who he truly is, a bully. I feel betrayed by Mr. Valenti. I feel betrayed by this district. I do not feel welcomed or valued by this district in which I grew up in. This district this district I now serve. I urge the board members to take action and advocate for the Ben Franklin staff, students, and community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is Erin Bodwell, Ben Franklin teacher.
I'm still doing this for Erin. Okay. So Ms. Bodwell is a language arts teacher at Ben Franklin. And she couldn't be here today, but this is her statement. I'm Erin Bodwell from Ben Franklin. I have been privy to an unprecedented decline of student behavior and staff morale at our site. I understand the need for tender care after COVID quarantine, but the level of disrespect at our site is out of hand. I can elaborate, but I really wish to say, as a teacher of 18 years in middle school, please help us. We need guidance and discipline from our administration. We need support from every angle. Our administration has fallen far short of that, to the detriment of our student body. This will be a generational problem. I will stay in the trenches, fighting the good fight. I hate these analogies, but feel they are apt. Please understand that we are not here to gripe, but to be a part of the solution. This is again from Ms. Bodwell, our language arts teacher at Ben Franklin. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Colleen Golden, parent.
Good evening. My name is Colleen Golden. I am the spouse of a JESD educator and a parent of a former JESD student. The mission of the Jefferson Elementary School District states all students will be provided with a high-quality education in a safe and nurturing environment where each student demonstrates a spirit of respect, responsibility, and a commitment to academic and civic excellence. At Ben, all aspects of this mission statement are disregarded. Under Mr. Pasarow's watch, students are not safe. At any point, multiple students may walk into a classroom and disrupt the learning. The students may be loud or may cause property damage. Students may have items thrown at them or at their teachers. Students may be hit with food at lunch. Ben is not safe for students or educators. Mr. Pasarow is ineffective. A spirit of respect, which was previously a strength at Ben, is diminished due to the lack of discipline, follow-through, and negative school climate. Teachers are not respected by the administration. Mr. Pasarow intimidates, disrespects, and disregards the strong educators at Ben.